Welcome to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Keefe in the studios for our flagship stations, 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV. In addition, today, as always, we're on Birmingham Area Municipal Access. Our television stations are on Comcast, Channel 15, and AT&T, Channel 99. We're also on the radio on 88.1 WBFH in the Birmingham, Bloomfield Hills area. Online, civiccentertv.com. Click on our Watch Live link or view us in the small player at the top right of our homepage on civiccentertv.com, on your web browser, on your computer, on your tablet, and on your mobile phone as well. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/civiccentertv15 and facebook.com/lakesfm. And as always, joining me here in the studio at Green Media Center in West Bloomfield is Ronnie Dahl.
Tyler, I woke up today in a little bit of a panic.
Uh-oh.
Because I was thinking it was Thursday.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, how am I going to get from my meeting downtown? Because I'm joining Pastor Barry Randolph of Church of Messiah on a big project that he has. He's such a visionary. He's just a character. I told him last week when I saw him, I said, hey, Pastor Barry, just to let you know, when I die, he has to do my eulogy.
Oh, boy. Interesting thing to just drop on someone.
Right? He got it, though.
Oh, that's good. Glad he took it well.
He's so awesome. But with that, too, though, but I was thinking, how am I going to get from downtown with the meeting? The storms are coming. I'm going to have to deal with rain. But then, hopefully, I can make my volleyball. It's 7:30. It's the last week of volleyball already. Where is the summer gone?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's going to be August in a couple of days here. At the end of the week, it's going to be August. All of a sudden, we're 8 months into 2021.
It is so crazy. So crazy. But then I said, oh, wait, it's only Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true. It's only Wednesday.
I have a free afternoon because my husband has Lions, and they are actually in person. So he will be gone all day. So I'll be able to go home, get some work done, and, hang out with Trixie Dixie for a little bit.
Oh, very nice.
Maybe try to get on the water because we do know, before we know it, there will be snow.
Yeah, and get a chance to get out on the water when it's a nice day outside. And it's not the weekend either, so it's not as busy, of course, on Cass Lake, where it's just a crazy town over the weekend.
Right. So if I can get out early enough, because I will say my goal is to be able to get up on my paddleboard, and be able to navigate the waves from the boats and the jet skiers on the weekend and not be sitting my butt down on my kayak. But, so with that, though, hey, the great thing, it's only Wednesday. Look at that. Hump day.
I know.
Happy Hump Day, everyone.
Yeah. Already Hump Day. And then I'm happy about it because I'm looking forward to Friday. Of course, the sad part of Friday is it's of course going to be your last show here. But for on my end, the good part of Friday is that it starts long-awaited vacation after the show here too. So I'll get a little bit of the Ronnie Dahl experience walking out after the show at the end of the day and on to other more interesting projects.
I do. I sometimes feel bad because I do leave here at noon, and I'm only part-time here, and so when I leave at noon, I'm kind of done, but I try to help through the day if there's a guest that needs to be scheduled or a slot to be filled. But I felt so bad because Larry, who is our booking producer, Sunday I'm out on the boat, out on the lake. Okay. And he's texting, the 10:40 slot's still not filled. And I'm like feeling so bad because I know that he put so much care and effort into making sure that we have enough guests each and every day. And I felt bad because I was just out on the water enjoying myself. But I was with Doug Young, the owner of Fork and Pint. Right. And I was kind of like, do you want me to ask Doug
He's right here.
On the show?
He's right here. We're in the middle of the lake. Like, hey, come on the show or, swim home.
I know, but what are you going to do for your vacation? Because everyone, if you don't know, Tyler, how long have you worked here, Tyler? Since you were like a teenager.
Yeah, pretty much. I've been here full time for 4 years. I started the first day of June in 2017 after I graduated from Michigan State. But I'd been working here part time over the summers the last 2 years before I graduated also. So on and off since 2015.
Okay, but were you an intern though?
No, I was never an intern.
Oh, okay.
I came in part-time before my junior year of college.
Oh, for some reason I thought you were an intern as well. But I will say, Tyler never takes time off. So the fact that you're going on a vacation, I hope it's somewhere fun.
Yes, I'm going across the state. I'll be in Grand Haven. They have their one of their annual events out there that was, of course, canceled due to COVID is the annual Grand Haven Coast Guard Festival. It's a really big, fun week of different activities throughout the entire town. Grand Haven's nickname is Coast Guard City, USA. It's on on Lake Michigan, of course, and so they bring in a bunch of these different Coast Guard vessels, and then they have a parade, they have a carnival, a lot of different activities. A lot of people come into the city. It's a really interesting and fun event throughout the entire week there. So it'll be the first time I've been out there for the entire week of that. Previously, when I was a kid, my dad, my brother, and I would go out there pretty much every summer for that for a few days, just for the parade and a little bit of the carnival, spend some time with some family out there, but be out there for the entire week and be on Lake Michigan a little bit. That would be a lot of fun. There you go.
Do you have family members that were in the Coast Guard?
Not in the Coast Guard, no. I've had family members that were in the Navy, and my cousin is currently in the Air Force.
Oh. Well, Tyler, if you're going to be on the western part of the state, I'd be happy to loan you my paddleboard kayak for the week
you need to get your practice there, Ronnie. We need to get you standing up on the paddleboard and taking a stand against those crazies on Cass Lake on the weekends, okay?
I know, but I will say I did buy the package from Misty over at Luna Moon. We had her on the show.
Yes.
And so I try to support so many of the local businesses as well. So I did buy a package from her, which is kind of easy because she has a different paddleboard. It's the inflatable one, but it's much bigger.
Right.
And they're already there. So you don't have to haul it off the, top of your car, which my husband has made me learn how to do, is to put the paddleboard on and off the car myself. It's so much heavier than you think. And I remember the first couple of days, I had such a stiff neck and I couldn't figure out why. I was putting on Tiger Balm. And then I was like, oh, it's because I'm basically using my neck and my shoulders to try to get this paddleboard up and down from the car. But so she makes it easy. So I always have a backup. Plus I accidentally, I ran it through twice. So I gave my niece a package as well so that she can go out with me, because Misty does Luna Moon, SUP yoga.
Yeah.
She does like meditations, sunset paddleboards, but also yoga paddleboard. She's doing like a big brunch one that is pretty popular as well. And again, we like to support people that are local, but at the end of the day, it's just much easier because you know what? I don't have to put my board on and off my car, which means I'm really bugging my husband that we need a house on the lake.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be tough putting that up on top of any vehicle, because it is so, those paddleboards they're thin, but they can be thick and heavy, and they're long and they're lanky, and you're trying to get it not only balanced when you're putting it up there, but trying to get it aligned in the middle of the car too. So yeah, it's definitely something you got to learn how to do.
And I will say, I looked for everyone out there, because we're in the lakes community, so I'm sure everyone has really kind of thought about this. They have the inflatable paddleboards, and my girlfriend had one of those, and I will say trying to blow that up and get it to the proper air level that it needed to be, that it was just such a pain in the butt. And I remembered that, and she even had like a Land Rover LR4, which you could run the full pump out of it, everything, and it was still such a pain in the butt that I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a regular one.
Yeah. Well, why deal with it? And then you got to deal with the deflating of it too in order to store it or take it back, and that's its own struggle also.
I know, but it is, I will say, like being able to just throw it in the back of your car.
Yeah, that's got to be nice.
So with that, but hope everyone out there is having a great Wednesday, because today is going to be a great day, but I will say the storms are coming again tonight. We have so many people that are storm weary right now here in the area, and of course Metro Detroit as well. So good thing though is it looks like the storms are going to be coming overnight.
Yes.
But just be aware of that as you go to bed tonight.
Yeah, we've had a lot of storming lately, and I think it's made people a little bit more aware of the weather patterns around them, and made them want to check that a little more often than normal, just so that they can be prepared and not have so many surprises when they're going out. And especially even yesterday, seeing some of the weather reports coming in northeast of us in Port Sanilac and the Port Huron area, where they were expecting very severe storms, and even had a tornado warning that was shortly after that canceled. There was a lot of worry there also, especially with all the severe weather that we've had just in the past several days. I think everyone, including the meteorological community, is really on edge right now with these storms.
So Tyler, I will say, and I can talk about this because I know my husband is at the Lions, so he's not going to be watching or listening to the show. So I'm in a little bit of a standoff with my husband about the yard. So he's off on Monday and Tuesdays. He didn't mow the lawn.
Oh no.
He went to the comic book store and then went and took off all night last night.
Oh, what?
And I think he expected me to mow the lawn last night when I came home. Well, I was originally going to, but then I was like, look, I take out the trash. I make life so good for my husband. I make it so good for him. I take out the trash. I make him dinner. I do the laundry. I'm like, back up here, Jackie.
Exactly.
If you want to be a man, mow the lawn. But I know what he's doing. He's waiting because he knows how I am. And I get anal about it. And I'm not anal, but my other two neighbors hadn't mowed yet.
Okay.
So I was like, okay.
That looks even. Yeah. As long as we're even.
Because we're in the middle. So I'm
Sure.
like, well, we'll see if he does it.
Yeah.
I know he's not going to do it tonight because the thing was, I said, baby, I thought it would be better to leave it to tomorrow before the rain comes so that you can mow it short and it can get the full love of Mother Nature with all the rain.
That's a good strategy. But come on, Woody. No.
He's not doing it.
No, come on. This guy.
It's these little tests, and I will say, I know other people do it. I'm sure husbands do it for their wives.
Oh yeah,
and we do it for our husbands. They're just these little tests that we set up.
Right. See how far you can push the limits.
You know what? I bet if I start clearing out his comic book room, I get some attention.
Yeah, put his comic books out on the lawn and say, "Oh no, they're buried." See, I don't know where they are in the lawn. The lawn's just so long. Maybe if we mowed it, it would be easier to find the comic books.
That's his excuse, though, for us not getting a cleaning person. And granted, it's two of us. I mean, come on. But at the end of the day, there's not a lot of cleaning he's doing. So we have a rule: the last person in the bed makes the bed. Last person out of the bed makes the bed.
That's fair enough.
So every day I go home, the bed's not made. He blames it on the dog. Trixie was the last one up.
Oh. Come on, Trixie. Oh, Trixie doesn't know how to make the bed yet? Come on.
I know. Her name is Trixie.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So we are working on new tricks. She has, obviously sit, shake, high five, and then down is her newest one. I got the master class for my birthday, and right now we're watching the videos of the animal trainer, Brandon. I forget his last name, but he used to do Lucky Dog on Sundays. So it really is interesting. Anyone out there, if you have a pet, it's a good course. I will say I like that master class. That's a good gift for people, I will say. Okay, jumping into the headlines, we're rambling a little bit too much today on this Hump Day Wednesday. CDC, of course, reverses course on indoor mask in some parts of the U.S. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention changed course on some masking guidelines, recommending that even vaccinated people return to wearing masks indoors in parts of the U.S. where the Delta variant of the coronavirus is fueling infection surges. Citing new information about the variant's ability to spread among vaccinated people, the CDC is also recommending indoor masks for all teachers, staff, students, and visitors at schools nationwide, regardless of the vaccination status. So the guidance on mask and indoor policy places applies to parts of the U.S. with at least 50 new cases per 100,000 people in the last week. In Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer said she thinks it's good. Go ahead and mask up indoors, but she has no intention to bring back the mask mandates imposed earlier in the pandemic.
Yeah, this is not entirely surprising given the circumstances of recent times with the spread of the Delta variant throughout the U.S. That being said, whether or not these mask recommendations and these guidelines are going to be widely followed, I don't think that they will. And I think because we pulled back so early in the vaccination process, well before we were within range, within reach of that, what was at the time 70% threshold that was considered herd immunity, I think going backwards is a lot tougher than moving forward. So whether or not that's going to be followed by people, I think it should. If it's the safest thing to do, and if it's the recommendation of our medical community and the epidemiological experts in our country, then it's probably the best option. That being said, I don't think it's going to be widely followed, and it's going to be a big struggle to get people to go along with this if this is really going to be something that's necessary going forward.
Hey, one popular Detroit nightclub is going to require proof of vaccination. On Monday, the Marble Bar announced it's going to require patrons to show proof of vaccination or negative COVID-19 test in order to be admitted to the venue. The Delta variant has proven to be more resilient against the vaccine and more transmissible in all environments. As an establishment aiming to bring people close together, we feel it as our duty to limit transmission of the COVID-19 in any way possible so that the party can continue. That's according to a post on their Instagram page. Online reception of the new policy has been pretty mixed. Some people praised the bar's decision. Others said, I'll go elsewhere. And the new policy is going to start Friday, July 30th. Patrons must present proof of vaccination or negative test results within 48 hours before admission. Physical proof of an image on a patron's phone is going to be accepted, but the patron's name must be visible and match the same name on their state-issued ID. So I think we're going to see more businesses start to do this as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be something that we see pop up, and it's one of those situations where it's the prerogative of the business to make a decision on their vaccination requirements, and if they want to establish that people need to have proof in order to let them in and be assured that they are vaccinated, that's going to be their choice. And that also gives customers the choice to then go to other establishments instead and not provide the business to the Marble Bar or to other bars as well, or venues that might put these requirements in place.
You know, the interesting thing about this, so many businesses are struggling right now. And to put some of these mandates in place, that could be money not coming in the door of your business. So interesting with that. Of course, you can always get the latest headlines. Go to civiccentertv.com, click on coronavirus. There you'll find the latest headlines posted each and every day. We're going to take a break here on the Megacast, jump into the show, and join our good friend Grace Keros down at American Coney Island, because did you know tomorrow's National Chili Dog Day?
Yeah, I did. I didn't know that before we were going to have Grace on the show, but you learn something new every day at this show, don't we, Ronnie?
So let's get to her, because I know she's extremely busy trying to accommodate the lunch rush. So we'll be right back after this break.
How does marijuana affect the teen brain?
Our brains are still developing into our 20s.
With regular use, marijuana can affect teen brain development.
It can affect our brain's circuitry and blood flow and impair thinking, learning, and memory function,
which could hold us back from reaching our potential.
Don't let marijuana mess with your brain.
Get the facts at michigan.gov/drug-free.
Here's one more reason to get the COVID-19 vaccine. It's your shot to win. Anyone 18 years or older in Michigan vaccinated between December 1st, 2020 and July 30th, 2021 is now eligible to win millions in cash prizes, including $1 million jackpots and $50,000 daily prizes. And vaccinated students could win thousands in college scholarships. For eligibility details and to enter, go to mishottowin.com.
Thank you for being with us here on the Megacast. I'm Ronnie Dahl here in the studios alongside the one, the only Mr. Tyler Keefe. It's been a tough time for so many of our businesses, including the most recognized and the iconic businesses here in the Motor City. Grace Keros joins us now, American Coney Island. Hey, Grace, how are you? I hope things are better from the last time we talked to you.
Things are a lot better, but I can't see you. Am I supposed to see you?
Oh, you can't see us?
I can't see you guys. I see myself.
What? Well, you look great, though.
Well, thank you, but I to see you.
And you know, the crazy thing about that too is our booking producer bought one of the T-shirts, the Vans T-shirts, to support
cool.
your restaurant. And I just put it on in the break, and I'm like, of course he would have a small. You're like seeing my package like a girl package. I'm like all smushed in here like a hot dog.
Oh, that's all right. How come I can't see you?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. We're sending video over there, and I know that our Zoom producer Ryan was able to see us when we were testing.
Yeah.
So it might just be on your end.
Well, you can see me because look, I got a chili dog ready for you and everything.
Oh, Grace. Hey, does business pick up a little bit for you guys when it's National Chili Day? Because I feel like these are like made up holidays.
Of all these national, this day, donut day, chip day, hot dog day, chili dog day. It's kind of ridiculous, but hey, we'll see.
I'm with you, Grace. I'm always like, I don't know who makes that calendar, but I want that job. Because
got a lot on their hands. I don't know. Someone who's bored.
Hey, but it's great to see you. You look fabulous as always. I miss seeing you out at events, though.
Well, there haven't been any events. Hopefully they'll get started soon.
I know. How are things going? Are they picking back up?
Awesome. It's good to thank you for thinking of me. And I know we did it through COVID, and that was awesome, and I appreciate it. And you and your whole crew there. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, you're such an important part of Detroit, but I love you because you're a strong woman and with a strong voice. And we need more people like you in the city of Detroit and Metro Detroit.
Yes. I'm just me. If I feel it, it's coming out. I work hard, do whatever I can do. Just, let us do our thing.
So are things picking up with the restrictions lifted?
Yeah, it's busy. You're not seeing office people or business people because they're not down here. I mean, they don't have to come downtown. They don't have to be in their offices, even though some of these offices and corporations and companies are saying, oh, yeah, they're not. They're bringing people back hit or miss once every so often, and they're giving them the option. And, I guess I get that, but that affects a downtown business, a restaurant, coffee shop, anybody. But what I am seeing is vacationers or just people that, it's summer break, families, lots of kids. There's lots of activity downtown right now. In the evening, not so much. During the day and the weekends, and the Tigers are actually winning a little bit, bringing some people. I think everyone just was, they're going crazy because they were stuck inside so long.
Yeah. Imagine that. Like, miracles do happen when the Tigers are the hottest ticket in baseball.
Yeah, who knew?
So with that, though, how much of your business is based on the office environment in downtown Detroit?
Well, during the week, like a Monday through Thursday, let's say, you want business people to come for lunch hour. Now, I'm not going to say our lunch hours have been crazy now. Again, people are just downtown. It's locals that are just touring the city with their families, nothing to do. They're all downtown. Come September, then we're really going to be able to gauge it. We'll see probably that Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday slow down because people won't be in the offices, or the few that are down here. The weekends will still be good, I feel. But during the week, we'll see. You can't gauge it in summertime. Everybody's out and about, whether they're not working, they're on vacation, what have you,
And with that, Grace, if we can talk about the recovery, how are you on employees? Because talking with other restaurant owners, that seems to be their biggest challenge, which is hindering their comeback from the COVID-19 crisis.
It's a challenge. Listen, we always, to get employees in Detroit from pre-COVID anything, you always have to pay your people. If you don't take care of your people, and that's one thing we were always taught growing up, from my grandpa to my dad, you take care of them. That minimum wage stuff never applied to us, never existed. So, and that's a lot of people don't realize that. And I'm not saying everybody's paying low wages, or they're not, but I know what we've been doing. So to get someone downtown to work initially, or in an evening especially, was always challenging, but we did. You pay your people, you take care of them. They're like family. So I have my tried and trues are back. I need a few extra that I need some filler positions. And it's very, very hard because people are choosing to stay on the unemployment. I'm selling hot dogs. I'm not selling, $40 steaks and, $200 bottles of wine. but yet I'm still paying way above what a lot of places are and aren't. But it's hard. It's hard for the restaurant industry. Well, the hospitality industry in general right now. It's not just a restaurant. I mean, like Home Depot can't find anyone. There's a lot of places.
But, we also heard, though, and we saw, though, tourism has picked up in the state of Michigan, especially, like in Grand Haven and Saugatuck and Mackinac Island, but not
Detroit.
So much in Detroit, right?
It has. No. There is people, Detroit, locals are touring the city again. There's a lot of people downtown during the day.
But not at night. And you have to keep the doors open.
Not at night. I mean, come on. And I mean, it's not the police assault. They're doing their best. Detroit Police Department is, they work hard. They're doing their best. It's gotten a little crazy though.
Right. I think I posted something today. I was like, can we stop using the freeways as a shooting gallery? I mean,
that's
come on.
It's not a Detroit issue. That's just an issue. I don't know what's going on with that.
So with that, though, do you think you're going to come out of this stronger? Because the one thing that's good about American Coney Island is everyone knows you.
Yeah, yes. But we're already stronger and better. I mean, we worked through the whole thing. We were feeding the front lines. We were, feeding hospitals, catering, doing what we couldn't just sit home all day. Shipping out Coney kits. We ship out Conies all across the country. So our shipping took off. You're going to adapt. You make some changes. You learn. It taught me some good lessons, actually. It was for me, it worked out better. I know I don't have to be open at 2 a.m. right now anymore. At some point, maybe I will again. But right now it's working out and things worked out for the best.
So what are your hours right now?
It all depends. I'm playing with them. Usually I'm about 10 to 3, Monday through Thursday, Friday, Saturday till midnight. Sunday, I'm doing like a 10 to 7. Now with the Tigers, though, I'll extend it. If there's like an evening game, we'll stay open till 7 or 8. We're playing with it. And then as time goes on, we'll see. We'll try to push it later during the week. Just trial and error.
I will say, though, as a reporter, it was nice if we were in downtown Detroit or at the Federal Building because you always had the cleanest bathroom in downtown.
We still have the cleanest bathroom downtown.
People don't understand how important that is. Like I used to post where to pee in the D.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one.
You can hashtag it, where to pee in the D, American Coney Island.
Don't hashtag.
That one. Absolutely. Because if your bathroom's crap, I wouldn't want to eat somewhere that I wouldn't be able to go to the bathroom. I don't know. I'd be a little weary.
Oh, you'd be amazed.
Oh, I'm sure. I've seen them. I know. And then I'll walk out.
So, Grace, if I can ask you, because it's not just about Detroit, you obviously have other locations. How is your Vegas location doing?
Great. Very, very busy. We have 3 locations in Vegas, actually. We have the American Coney Island at the D Hotel, and then it's Circa Resort and Casino. We opened up during pandemic. It was grand opening. We have Victory Burger and Wings, and we do Stadium Swim. We do the pool. It's the biggest resort on the downtown on the strip that has, not on the strip, on Fremont Street, that has opened up in Vegas in the last 80 years. And it's the same owners of the D Hotel, and it's unbelievable. It's going well, so thankfully.
So going through the pandemic, what's it been like for you to operate in different states and see the difference in the mandates state to state?
They were pretty much ours were extreme. I think ours went a little power hungry. Everybody went over here. But anyways, the mandates were very similar in Vegas. The things that changed yours, they just opened up things a little sooner, maybe by about 3-4 weeks. So you just go with it. I didn't sit and worry about all that. I just go with it and did what I had to do.
Can I ask you, though, as someone who's been in business and it's a family business that's been in operation for more than 100 years?
104 this year.
Were you a little stressed? Thinking that I have to carry this business. This is my family's legacy.
I wasn't stressed about it. I knew it was going to be okay. We face challenges. We're in Detroit, for God's sakes. This isn't the first challenge we've faced from 104 years, believe me. So we're good.
That is so true. We do think about Detroit, and I think so many people don't understand because, especially now, we know, not so much lately, but really the story has been about Detroit's comeback. And I know that every time I traveled, people, oh, you're from Detroit? Oh my God, I hear great things about Detroit. I'm like, come with me to Detroit. Come outside those, 3.9 square miles.
Yeah. Well, we'll just leave that at that. Exactly. Come back what? It's the city. Things change. Yeah, there's a few new restaurants. There's a lot of them that aren't here anymore. So I just think COVID exposed a lot of what was going to happen. Things got saturated down here. Too much all at once. Not enough people sustain it. It's expensive to live down here. People aren't living. The population is down, right? It's the offices now are empty. Now what's going to happen? Come September, October, we're going to see a lot more things that probably aren't going to be great.
That's really going to be interesting at that point in time, especially if so many of these businesses allow people to, even if you continue to be remote 2 days, 3 days, that's a huge impact.
It is. I mean, you need business people down here to fill these office spaces, and they're not. They're not here. And, so we wait and see.
I know. The interesting thing with that, I remember my brother-in-law, they were in the Rensen, and they got priced out. And,
you can't even get in the Rensen right now.
Yeah. And they had to move back to the suburbs. They liked being down there and being a part of the scene, but when the prices got jacked up, they moved right back to the suburbs. And I think what you're going to see is so many office buildings are going to be sitting empty, or the ones that are being built are not going to be finished being built.
But they're not finished. They're not going to. They've outpriced everybody. No one's paying taxes. All these people that are building these huge skyscrapers and things, I'm paying taxes like crazy. They're not. Tax dodging, breaks, this, that, the other, whatever. We'll see.
So with that, Grace, can I ask, talk a little bit about the team up with some of the organizations that have tried to help the restaurants through the area? Because the good thing, you have been here for more than 100 years. You have such a well-known name and a well-known reputation. And Van Shoes, how did that come about? The shoes you can't get, by the way. I think Larry, our producer, was lucky enough to get the shirt. Yeah. It's like $30. Yeah.
Sold out like in record time. They were doing a thing to help businesses in general, not just restaurants, but businesses. And, they reached out to us and said, you're iconic in Detroit. We know of you, all this. We'd like to, send us like a video. Tell us a little bit of your story. So my brother and I did this video, and we send it on to them as they wanted, and we got a call a few days later saying, we really want to feature you on this Foot the Bill, and we want to make a shoe for you and a T-shirt, and net proceeds go back to you, on and on and on. And that's pretty much how it happened.
And has it been successful for you? Did you get more recognition and more sales?
Sold out. Yeah, we get the net proceeds for Foot the Bill. They send it right to you.
Really?
Yes.
Whoever thought that a Coney dog and shoes would be so popular?
Well, it's American Coney Island, Ronnie. What are you talking about? That's not nice.
Come on.
Hey, tell me you at least got a pair of the shoes, right?
Sold out. You can't get a shoe or a T-shirt.
So the T-shirt I'm wearing is really,
collectible.
Edition. It was a limited edition. It was for a month. We sold out in less than two weeks. The T-shirt sold out in 2 hours.
Wow. So did you get a pair of the shoes? I hope.
Well, I did. I bought them. I bought all my employees' shoes. I bought my family's shoes. Yes.
No way. That's so cool. Do you have them on now? I want to see them. What do they look like?
Every day. I have a different pair of shoes today.
Grace Keros with us here on the Megacast. She, of course, is the owner of the American Coney Island in downtown Detroit. And with that, Grace, just another minute or two, because I know you guys have to get busy for what.
I got to do it, right.
What hopefully is a busy lunch hour. And I will say to anyone who knows, Grace does all the you are such the face, and you never turn down an interview. But I will say too, when you go into American Coney Island, she's there. Oh, yeah. I had friends, they were here from Belgium, and we went in, and, he was like, I just need to go to this American Coney Island. I don't know. And I'm like, oh, Grace. And we go in, and Grace is there. You made his day.
Every day, open and close. I am here. And if I'm not here, I'm probably at the Vegas store. So I am here.
Hey,
it's just how you have to take care of business.
If you need help at the Vegas station, like let's say December, I'll be your sidekick.
Exactly.
Grace, it's great to have you on. This is one of my last days, so I'm excited to have you on because I'll stop in and we'll talk later about some of the things going on. But I will say, you guys have been, and Grace especially has been such a huge, huge supporter of important journalists such as Charlie LaDuff. We love Charlie, and he's vital to Detroit and keeping his voice going, but he can only do that because of people like you. And so we need to
all of you have been good to
you.
And we're all friends also, but we have this relationship because through the years, whether helping us promote or anything that needed to get out, or me to tell my story, my concern, you've all been there, and that means a lot. I have support, and I feel it, and I know it. So thank you, Ron.
Well, and with that, Coney kits, they're like a hot item right now. How can people get them?
AmericanConeyIsland.com. You just go on there, you push the order button. We're connected through Goldbelly. It'll take you to that. You order. We ship out every Monday. You get it in 2 to 3 days.
That's how many sales have you been doing off of those?
A lot. Believe it.
Let's go crazy. I would never think to ship a Coney kit. That's so awesome.
Well, see, there you go.
Grace, we love you, and we love having you, and thank you for your time, and we hope continued success there. And we won't say it. I will. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting in Detroit Thursday, tomorrow. So I'll swing by before the meeting.
Sounds good.
Grace Keros, if you're downtown, please visit them, the owner of American Coney Island. Businesses are starting to pick up, but we need to continue to support them. The great thing about them, I was thinking, Tyler, the 13-year-old from Roper, who had the subscription box that he won from the Kid Shark Tank.
Right.
We should he totally has to get connected with Grace.
Yeah, having American Coney Island's Coney kits in that box to represent Detroit, come on, that's a shoe-in.
Right. Shinola Hotel.
I know. It's an easy one.
We totally. I'm working on a list for them, but again, and we should recognize that. Of course, they're next door to Lafayette.
Yes.
But we support all the restaurants down there, and Detroit has changed a lot. It's been a few weeks since I've been to downtown Detroit, and things are picking up because it's summer.
Right.
But it's almost a ghost town at night.
Yeah, and you have concerns, like Grace said. You have concerns for when the colder seasons of the month come around, when the fall comes, and whether or not businesses are going to have their employees back downtown in large scale, whether or not things are still going to be happening, and things may still be popping downtown when the Tiger season is over, and when there's not Lions or Pistons games or Red Wings games down there, and if people even are going to show up for some of those teams, A, given the COVID-19 situation, and B, given the state of Detroit sports. But even beyond when there are events down there are that's just a small fraction of the time that they're having their business there, and that they need as much support from the community as possible, especially because they are such great ambassadors of Detroit and of the metro area as well.
I wish we had a Megacast mug. I would take it to her.
Yeah.
We don't.
We really should make them. We have mugs for the splash.
Yeah.
We really should make some Megacast mugs. Maybe a different color than that yellow, though.
Yeah. We're going to take a break here on the Megacast, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about travel in the state of Michigan. What's on your bucket list? Dave Lorenz joins us next on the Megacast, and also Pure Michigan. It's celebrating an anniversary, an advertising ad that has kept giving and giving and giving. That's all next here on the 10 o'clock hour of the Megacast.
Trevor Project is sharing how you can support LGBTQ youth who may be at risk.
It's simple. Just show them that you care. C-A-R-E. Connect. If you noticed any warning signs of suicide from someone you know, reach out to them.
Ask. Ask directly. Are you thinking about killing yourself? It might be challenging, but talking about suicide is proven to reduce risk.
Respond. If they open up to you about their suicidal ideation, honor that trust by responding with compassion and empathy.
Empower. Talking openly is a great first step, but now you can empower them with the information and the support they need to improve their situation.
Learn more about how you can show them you care and help prevent LGBTQ youth suicide. Visit trvr.org/care.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
People are getting out to walk and bike in higher numbers. More vulnerable road users and higher speed traffic can be a dangerous combination. Crash severity has increased, so if you're driving, be sure to slow down and look for people. There's no need to speed. If you're biking, ride with traffic. If you're walking, avoid stepping into the road if possible. If you have to walk in the street, walk facing traffic. Learn more at walkbikedrivesafe.org.
Thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us here on the Megacast. I'm Ronnie Dahl here in the studios alongside Mr. Tyler Keefe. I feel bad I got makeup on Larry's shirt.
Oh, no. Let's, maybe a washout.
Well, I think when he brought it in, he didn't expect I was going to actually put it on.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
I wanted to show the back, though. It's really cool.
Yeah, the back of the shirt was really interesting. It's
it's a collector's item now, though.
Yes.
I'd hold on to that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. He needs to get that out of this building as quickly as possible. We're going to have a mob of people knocking on our front door trying to get that Vans American Coney Island shirt.
I want to see the shoes. Hey, Tyler, I know you're not a big Facebook person.
No, I don't care for it.
I know you're a younger generation, but there are times like you post things on Facebook and it's just the memories. And this time 3 years ago, we were in the south of France.
Oh.
And the pictures come up of the lavender and the pool, and so I broke out my linen shirt today. And you say I white jeans on. I was feeling very French because I got this at one of the markets. Yeah. Uh-huh. Like one of the big things when you go to the south of France is like the open markets, and you get everything for a few euros. And linen is everywhere. And I was feeling like I need a vacation. I definitely need a vacation. And with the whole situation with Canada right now.
Yeah, what's going on in Canada? Come on. Silly Canucks.
Continue to explore our own backyard.
Yes.
With that, we want to bring in our good friend Dave Lorenz, the Vice President, of course, of Travel Michigan and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Great to have you with us. How are you?
Oh, good to be with you guys again. And as you're reminiscing about vacations from the past, I get to tell you that next week I'll be in the southeast of Michigan. And I can't wait to be back in the Detroit area because I haven't been there enough during this last year. So thrilled to be able to head back. And I recommend you do the same, just as your previous guest was talking. We need to support our cities more than ever. Everybody's going up north, and that's fantastic. But, man, it's crazy busy. Try to get a hotel room at a reasonable rate right now. And trying to get a tea time is really tough, too. So now is the time to consider being a tourist in your own town. Be a tourist in your own area. Support your businesses, whether it be American Coney Dogs or National Coney Dogs or any of the other restaurants in your region. Give them your support, give them your love. Buy those things that you can send, like those Coney Island dog kits. I have sent those to friends in Florida.
People love them, don't they?
They're great. They're great. And I've done the same thing with pizza kits over here on, the west side of the state. And my favorite place that I like to go to, Fricano's.
Yes.
The original pizzeria of Michigan, they claim.
Really?
So anyway, there's so many things you can do here. You need to just do it, enjoy it, and try to support our businesses because it's going to be rough this next, not just couple of months, this next couple of years is going to be very difficult for restaurants, retailers, everybody in the tourism industry. And that means everybody you care about because you love to do things here. So if you're a golfer, a skier, if you are a culture fan, if you love nature, anything you love to do here in Michigan, believe me, as much as it's been difficult this last year and a half, as people start to go to other places and we start to free up again, and that will come eventually, this next couple of years is going to be really challenging. So let's do all we can to support our own businesses.
So please tell me that you have a little trip planned on the Tiki Bar when you come to Detroit. What was it? Aloha.
Yes.
We've had them a couple times on the show.
Tours.
I could see you on a Tiki Bar cruising the Detroit River.
Sounds like Dave.
You've just given me a great idea because, it's funny. I'm not even on vacation next week. I'll be with the Under the Radar PBS TV crew.
Oh, take them along with you.
We're recording some segments for a series of shows that will run this fall on PBS. So that's a great idea. And I have seen my friends do that. I've also seen my friends do the, I don't know what they call it. It's that like mega bike that everybody gets on to crawl from craft beer place to craft beer place.
Oh, yeah. We've had them on, too.
Those are cool, too.
The pedal bike.
So I need to check them both out.
I
Good
think,
idea.
You know what? And it's work. It's research.
That's exactly true. And, so we're in our 15th anniversary, as you mentioned, going into the break. And it's so interesting because I've been all over the state. Every time I think I've done everything, I open my eyes again and I realize I've done so little compared to what there is out there. So believe me, if you think you know a place, but you haven't been there for a while, you need to check it out, because if even I'm surprised every time I come to Detroit or every time I come to Birmingham or Ann Arbor or Frankenmuth or you name it, you're going to be just as surprised and just as impressed as I am.
So, Dave, if I can ask you, because again, that Pure Michigan campaign is going on its 15th year. It has survived more politicians than you could imagine. I mean, it's been so successful for the state of Michigan. Why is it?
Well, it's because it's been successful. Politically, it's never easy getting funding for any program because, we all want to make sure we're getting the bang for our buck as taxpayers. Believe me, I don't consider myself a government guy. I'm technically not even a state employee. So I think I have I guess I have a better appreciation than maybe some might for the taxpayer and wanting to be able to provide a real good return on the investment. So we've done our best to be as efficient and effective as possible. We've tried to inspire people, to encourage people, to get people to travel here and to spend money to keep our jobs flowing in Michigan. And it's worked well. We know through independent research that for every dollar we invest in the campaign, we bring I've lost track, $8 or so. But even return on investment data gets attacked by people who simply don't want to believe that public investment toward programs that help the public makes sense. Now think about it. It wouldn't be efficient for us to pay for our own mile of road in front of our house. Everybody paying for their own. This is the same thing. We're all investing on something that benefits us greatly and not just to encourage travel. The Pure Michigan program has always been intended to do several things. One is to encourage people to travel here, to spend money, to help jobs grow and prosper. But there's a big thing about Pure Michigan that's about engendering pride, reminding us that this state's best times are yet ahead of us. And when we work together and we think of ourselves as pure Michiganians, that we will move forward and get through these big challenges that we all deal with. So that's a big part of it as well. But if you remember 15 years ago, I remember those days. They weren't bright and sunny days in Michigan. We had lost faith in ourselves. So Pure Michigan is just as much about reminding us that, everything that we do here has great value. And as we influence people to come here, we want to show them our educational institutions. We want to show them places which they should invest in, like Detroit, that they should move their offices and their shops and their manufacturers here. So that's what Pure Michigan does. It tells the world that Michigan is not what they think it is, and reminds us the same thing.
So with that, what is the budget for that campaign?
This year we have a $15 million budget. We were up to about $36 million. And then you remember we were defunded for a year. We got in the middle of a argument between the administration and the legislature that didn't involve us at all. It had to do with roads. And before you know it, our budget was vetoed. So now we're at 15 million. For us to move forward, we're going to have to get back up there because we need to get that national campaign going again. This year, everything's fine. People are traveling. We knew that was going to happen, but we're staying close to home. We also know after 2 years of everybody staying close to home in this big state, in the future, it's going to be hard to keep Michiganders here because they're going to want to explore. Can't blame them. We want them to see the world. It's good for us. A better understanding of the world means better appreciation for where we live. But it's going to be hard to fill those gaps unless we're marketing to the country, to the world as we need to. So crossing my fingers, we're going to get financial support. I know the governor and the legislature by far supports us, and now we need to be able to do our work. So I'm crossing the fingers we get good budget this coming year.
So with that, Dave, we should know, like I see the commercials all the time for Ohio. So these ads, they don't just air in the state of Michigan. Are they placed in neighboring states as well?
This year, because of a lack of funding and to be able to do a national campaign, we really are in state and in the region. And we also knew that people wouldn't want to travel very far during a pandemic. So that was the best investment. And even if we had been funded more than we are this year, we wouldn't have expended that amount of money. We feel it was an appropriate budget for this year. But next year, as we start to come out of this thing, and it will still take a while, we have a ways to go before we're out of this pandemic, folks. We need to get our vaccines, or talk to our doctors if you haven't had those vaccines. You know, ask them about it, because honestly, that's the only way we're going to get out of this thing. If we all come together, do our part. And maybe you're not supposed to get a vaccine. Your doctor will tell you that. But if you're supposed to, please do. I talk to my doctor because I have challenges with a lot of lung issues and things. And my doctor told me, yes, you should get a shot. And I did that day. That was my first one. So believe me, I'm talking from somebody who knows challenges of some conditions. It's the only way we're going to get there, because these next few years is going to be tough as the economy starts to come back. We get more competition from other places. So we need to do all we can to get the word out that Pure Michigan's alive and well. You're welcome here. And that's another big point about Pure Michigan. You know, all these social challenges we've been dealing with that have come to light. We've always been dealing with racism and other challenges, but they've come to light this last year. And there's one thing that Michigan has learned through the challenge of the late 60s and beyond, is that we are better when we look at each other instead of from the outside than from the inside. We are a strong state that is more together, I guess, than most places. We do believe in welcoming all to this state. That's what Pure Michigan says, that all are welcome here, no matter what your color, your age, your sex, your religion. We don't care. We just want to know that we want you to know that you're welcome here. So that's what we're trying to do with the Pure Michigan campaign as well.
So how much of an impact does it have on the state of Michigan's tourism when it comes to the border with Canada?
It's huge. In fact, if you look at the Canadian border being shut, same thing for Mexico, same thing for the UK and the EU, we're losing in the country about $1.5 billion in trade a week.
Wow.
A week. That means 10,000 jobs we're losing a week because of the lack of that business in our country. And we have a bigger share of that because Canada's huge to us.
Yeah.
So I've been talking to every policymaker I can, trying to say, listen, I mean, I don't like the idea of vaccine passports, but you know, if that's what's necessary to get people to come here internationally, fine, do it. Let's get people traveling again. Canadians very likely are going to expect that of us. I haven't heard the exact details, but the Canadians are ready to welcome us, and they were really slow in their vaccine response. So if they can welcome us, we can do the same. So I'm hoping that happens, especially for border communities like Detroit, Port Huron, Sault Ste. Marie, and then other places, Buffalo, New York, you name it, Seattle. We need this business, and we also need to be more welcoming and receptive toward one another. I mentioned earlier that I want people to travel here, of course. I want to get our fair share of that business, maybe a little bit more of it. But it's good to travel around the world. The more you travel, the more you see that we're all the same. We might look different, sound different, whatever, but we're all the same. We want a better life for our kids and our grandkids. And I don't think that really takes hold in your brain until you're fully immersed in other cultures and other places. So we need to go to Canada. Canada needs to come here. I hope more people coming from Canada, but still, we need to get that travel going.
Well, and because we are so close to Canada. And what's so crazy is they can fly, but you can't drive 20 minutes. And I was so looking forward to when Canada announced the opening of their side of the border. I just assumed the U.S. would follow suit, and I'm like, hoo-hoo, wine tour. I was already talking to my girlfriends about a wine trip.
That was the plan. It was the plan. And I think we were going to go August 21st. So I'm still crossing my fingers. I just got out of a big meeting for U.S. Travel Association, and we're doing our best to advocate for sensible policies with the understanding and belief that we need to do it safely. So I'm hoping that this announcement that the CDC just made, about masking up in some places, I hope that's a wake-up call to people. And I tell you, because Detroit, has always proudly said, we're the blackest city in America. African Americans generally have not been as accepting of the vaccine because of the history, and you understand that, of all the crazy, weird things that happened in the past. But I'm really hoping for my African American friends, and I tell them who have not been vaccinated, and everybody else as well, that you think about this and you talk to your doctor and you do this, because I see this as our only way out, only way to beat this thing. I'm pleading with my friends because I care about them. I'm hoping they do this.
So again, we're talking with Dave Lorenz. He's the Vice President of Travel Michigan with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. And we know that tourism is $1 billion industry here in the state of Michigan. The Pure Michigan campaign has been widely successful. It's not that often you see a campaign continue strong for 15 years. But do you think in part of that it has to do with some of the parodies that have spun off from this campaign, because they are hilarious?
Yeah, and in 2019, we were just moving along at $26.3 billion in financial impact for travel and tourism in the state. In reality, it's really much more, but the way we count it, it's direct impact. The number of dollars that the travelers spend when they travel 50 miles or more. So if you really think about that and you look at indirect and induced spending, the value of travel and tourism is much greater. But we like to stay consistent with the way we measure things. It's just easier to see how we're doing. And then you look at Pure Michigan as a brand. It's worked because it tells the authentic, real story of a place that's not perfect, but offers really cool experiences at great values. It's really what it's all about. And then the parodies, they are fun. I wish he didn't swear as much, because then I could promote it more. When I go to talk to college students, they all know about the parodies, and they say, well, why don't you push those out? I said, well, number one, we don't make them. Number two, there is a lot of swearing in those things, so we can't really use them. But I do think they're funny as well. John Kerfoot, who's the guy who does that, does a great job.
It's, not so Pure Michigan. And the latest one that I saw had to do with, the big red poles when you go into Southfield.
Yes.
The golden circle in Sterling Heights. It's just hilarious. It is. I mean, come on. We have to laugh at ourselves every once in a while.
I suppose. But, sculpture and art is in the eye of the beholder. And I actually love those things.
Hey, can I ask you real quick, though, because I was on the website a little bit earlier, and it talked about transparency. What is the PA 59 report?
Oh, PA 59. There are about 5 different laws which manage the way a local destination marketing organization funds itself. In other words, the way it gets funded. So when you stay at a hotel, really anywhere in America or most of the world, you pay, the rate, you pay your sales use tax, and then you're likely going to pay like a local promotion fund fee. So under PA 59, Public Act 59, most places you stay in Michigan, you'll pay 5%, and those dollars go to your local destination marketing organization, our partners at the local field. So that's how the Detroit Area Convention Visitors Bureau gets funded, for instance, and then they promote the area. So the logic is mostly visitors, funding, getting more visitors coming, and then it helps the local community.
Got you. Because I always like transparency, and a lot of it is take the time, pull up the report for yourself, read it, see where your dollars are going. Dave Lorenz with us here on the Megacast, Vice President, Travel Michigan, Michigan Economic Development Corporation. You're listening to 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And Dave, I have one favor to ask of you. Can you please give me a heads up when I'm going to get a great view of the Northern Lights so that I can plan a trip, because I don't live up there. Come on.
It's so funny. It's so funny. So all the times I've been in Northern Michigan and the UP, quite often I'll go late at night and I'll go to one of our dark sky areas and I'll really enjoy the stars, because you need to go to a dark sky park, like the Headlands Dark Sky Park, just a couple of feet west of Mackinac City. Check that out on a clear night. It's just awesome to be able to see the Milky Way and to see those stars. And then every so often, you might see the Aurora Borealis. Now, the funny thing is, many times I've been in the UP and everything, I've never seen the Northern Lights up there. The only time I've seen the Northern Lights is where I live here in the Muskegon Grand Haven area. I'll drive around, and I remember one time my son looks up, he goes, "Oh, there's a Northern Light." And I go, oh. What? And he was like, back to his phone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you just never know. But we're pretty lucky. We're coming into the time of the year where you're more likely to see them. So places to do that are over large expanses of water. That's why, because you don't have any tree interference or whatever. So find a clear night, go to a place like McLean State Park over in the far western part of the Upper Peninsula, or any of our dark sky areas. You can even find dark sky areas in southern Michigan. And you never know, you might see them. Even down here, you might even see them, but more likely north of the 45th parallel.
I know, it's a little bit of a hike, though, for that last-minute road trip.
True.
But I would do that. I'd get in my car and I'd drive all night if I knew I was going to see them.
And but I've also had so many friends who haven't even opened their eyes. And it's just like the rest of discovery of the world. If you're not looking for it, sometimes you find the best, coolest things. But occasionally you do have to seek out these really unique things as well. So those parks are really the ways to do it.
It's such a teaser, because I belong to the Facebook group and they're always posting pictures. I'm like, it's on my bucket list. I'm going to see them one day.
Yeah, you will.
Dave, thank you so much for always being with us. We so appreciate your voice, your insight, and your expertise as well. Come visit us next week when you're down here in the Motown.
I'd love to do that, and I know you're going to be doing some new things. So thanks for everything, and wish you the very best.
Thank you so much. We'll be in contact soon again, I'm sure.
Sounds great. Thank you. Hey, everybody, get out there and travel. Remember, your trip begins at michigan.org.
Absolutely. See, you can voice the commercials. We don't need Tim Allen.
I'm gonna see him on Sunday, so I'll tell him you said that.
Exactly. I'm sure he'll care. Dave Lorenz, again, thank you for your time. We're going to take a quick break here on the Megacast, and when we come back, events are rolling back into the Motor City. Fun events that are absolutely different. Motor City Nightmares is going to be here this weekend. I have friends that are into the horror films. They are so looking forward to this. So that's next here on the Megacast.
One of the things you can look for in your friends is a change in behavior. These can be big changes, they can be small changes in mood, physical appearance. They may be sleeping less or sleeping more, drinking more, or their eating patterns may be different.
One big change that can be pretty obvious is change in motivation. Do they no longer want to play basketball? Do they no longer want to play video games?
Now that we're spending more time online and in virtual settings, it's really important to pay attention to the language that your friend is using and the words they're using to communicate.
So when we text our friends, are they taking longer amounts of time to respond? Are they not responding at all? You don't have to be an expert to try to recognize these signs. The second that you feel it in your gut and that you're concerned, that's the second to have the conversation and open the door to what might be going on.
Whatever gets you talking. Here's one more reason to get the COVID-19 vaccine. It's your shot to win. Anyone 18 years or older in Michigan vaccinated between December 1st, 2020 and July 30th, 2021 is now eligible to win millions in cash prizes, including $1 million jackpots and $50,000 daily prizes. And vaccinated students could win thousands in college scholarships. For eligibility details and to enter, go to mishottowin.com.
Great to have you with us here on the Megacast. Just a reminder, we're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. until noon, live here at the studios. You can catch us on Civic Center TV, Birmingham Area Municipal Access. Check us out, Channel 15 if you have Comcast, 99 on AT&T. You can also listen to us on the radio, 89.3 Lakes FM, 88.1 FM The Biff. And then, of course, you can also view us as we live stream it on our Facebook page as well. Halloween. I know we're in the middle of summer.
It's getting there. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be here quicker than you think. I mean, we're going into August already,
and right before then it's September, and then it's October.
Exactly,
and that is scary, spooky movie season. And with that, we want to go ahead and bring in Tommy Brunswick, organizer for Motor City Nightmares. I'm sorry, Tommy, which is happening this weekend. Great to have you with us. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, tell us about the event.
Oh, it's a horror expo and international film festival. So it's a lot like a Comic-Con, but all horror themed.
That is so cool. Can I ask, what's it been like for you and the team to try to organize this? Because while it is a little bit different this summer, we're emerging from the pandemic, but we're still in it. So what's the planning behind the scenes to try to pull off some of this event?
Well, there was a lot of planning because we weren't sure Michigan would be fully open. So I had to fly into town because I live in Los Angeles now, but I had to fly into town because we had a protocol to separate everybody because it's a big event and people, very close to each other. But it opened up, so we were able to keep it the same. But I do ask that if you're not vaccinated to wear a mask if you can. Don't want anyone. I don't want a super spreader event.
No, we don't need that, especially now. But with that too, you said you're coming from LA, so this show is what, traveling throughout the country?
No, I'm from Michigan, but I make movies also. So I live in Los Angeles. I've moved there a couple of years ago.
Oh, well, welcome back home for a visit.
Well, I'll be back every year for this, because it's my show.
How'd you get into this?
Well, growing up, my parents loved movies, so we'd see 2-3 movies a week, and they loved the horror. So I just always wanted to do horror movies, but I never knew how. So once I started making independent movies, we needed people to watch them. So I came up with the idea, well, let's do a convention. And then the convention became its own animal. So, but I actually help a lot of other emerging filmmakers. So they come and they do, I have seminars, and they meet a lot of stars, and I can introduce them to different distributors if they have their movies in my show.
So with that, Tommy, because this really is a cult following in a way, just like Comic-Con is, right?
Yep. Yes. Thank you, Walking Dead, for making us mainstream.
Oh my gosh. My husband, he's a comic book freak, and he would be watching that every week. I'm like, I don't get the show.
Well, it's actually a drama with some zombies. So that's why it was so successful, because of the characters. You love the characters. The zombies are just extra.
So tell us about the expo this weekend. We know Comic-Con is all about some of the big stars that come and people can, take pictures. Is that still going to be happening, and how do you navigate that with COVID?
Yeah, actually, our headliner is Malcolm McDowell, because it's 50 years of Clockwork Orange. So he's coming in, and all of the celebrities have been vaccinated. So they feel safe. They've already been doing some shows. My show isn't the first. It's probably one of the early ones in Michigan, but it's not the first. They've been doing them for the past few months. And our photo op people are very conscious of, all of the different protocols. We do have plexiglass to put in between, but it's not required with Michigan. So,
but how hard is it with you too? Because I know that it's like you ask for people to be vaccinated, but you don't know really if they are, if they're not. It's an honor system, right?
Just like any other business, it's an honor system. But I know that the people unvaccinated, they're the ones that would be the most sick. So I don't want them to get sick, but I don't know what else to do. Just like any other business, they don't know what to do either.
Tommy Brunswick with us here on the Megacast. She's the organizer for the Motor City and Nightmares Expo that is going to be happening this weekend in Novi. And how are tickets working this year?
Oh, right now you can get them on Eventbrite, but they're always available at the door. You just can't buy the big packages at the door. Those actually, they're almost all sold out. And there's no more hotel rooms left. So if you're going to come, you have to stay in another hotel. If you want, because a lot of people like to stay the night, because we have parties both Friday night and Saturday night. We crown our Miss New Nightmare. Every year there's a new Miss Nightmare.
So what's this been like for you to be a part of this?
Well, it's all encompassing, because I started doing this with my husband, and now I own it myself. It is the only, I have 3 other girls that run it with me, and so only female-run horror film and expo in the country.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I know.
Chicks rock.
So,
how do
they're fabulous. They do a lot of work with Comic-Con, like Motor City Comic-Con and all the other different cons. So they already have it down. So they are, putting me through my paces here. So because I started it, but it's really hard when you're doing it on your own with just your kids, But I make movies, so I knew already in all the contracts and all of the organization and everything, because it's just like controlled chaos. So it was just like a easy progression for me.
So with that, can I ask you as well, how do you figure out who you're going to bring in? Is it just the top stars, or?
Actually, see, what is an anniversary? Like this year is the 50 years of Clockwork, and I've done things for like Return of the Living Dead. I think it was, I don't remember how many years, but it was whatever is coming up. Yeah. Or if there's a exciting thing like Suicide Squad's coming out, and so I'm signing Michael Rooker for next year. Hopefully, his schedule will work out, but I'm excited because he was at the show once before, and of course he's a Walking Dead guy, but Guardians of the Galaxy and now Suicide Squad. But you have to get them while you can really quick, and you have to make sure, because some of them are so expensive that my show is small. I'm not as large as Motor City Comic Con. I call it our family barbecue.
But
we're the island of misfit toys.
But I love that, because if I'm into this, I feel like it's more intimate and I get more bang for my buck out of my ticket, right? I mean, because it's it's that interaction, especially coming out of COVID, that we've all been missing.
Yeah, and the celebrities come to the parties because we're all friends. I know a lot of them from my movies and stuff. So it's just a nice mingling thing, and everybody knows that they'll be able to have some time with their favorite celebrity.
What about the vendors? Was it hard to be able to get enough vendors in, or were they eager to come because they had to sit out last year?
Actually, I had sold for 2020, so I just pushed all of the vendors. So it was almost already sold out anyway. So it's it's tough, but everybody, make good for everybody because nobody wants to lose their deposit. So everyone is excited. They're very excited. But a lot of shows are happening as fast as they can. So we have butt up against a few other shows.
Again, we're talking with Tommy Brunswick, organizer for the Motor City Nightmares Expo, which is happening this weekend at the Sheraton Detroit in Novi over on Haggerty Road. You said tickets are still available. They can buy them the day of. Is that going to be just for the show? And are you trying to restrict how many tickets are sold per hour?
I usually, because it's a niche show, we get a good amount of people, but it's never overwhelming,
Yeah.
And if it does get overwhelming, we'll deal with it then. But right now it's we sold a little more than usual, so that's good. But who knows what it's going to be like at the door.
With that too, so you make movies. Can I ask you? Can we have someone not stand there and wait for, the monster to come kill them? Hello, we're all screaming at the TV, run, they're behind the curtain, come on.
We want people to be interactive with our movies, so yeah, yelling at the TV, run, is good.
What's it like to try to make a movie in this genre?
It's actually a lot of fun. Everybody enjoys it. Almost everyone their first movie's horror. Johnny Depp's first movie was Nightmare on Elm Street. Demi Moore's first movie was Parasite. There's so many people. Like, everyone starts in horror because horror translates to every language in the world, but like comedy doesn't. What's funny here isn't funny in Germany. Yeah. But what scares you all over the world. So like horror and porn, they can translate in anything. So I decided horror.
But when you're a true fan, and I have friends that are definitely fans of this genre. For me, it's around Halloween. So when you have an expo and it's July, is it a little bit harder to try to get people to come because they're not in the mood for horror, or do people put this on their calendar?
Oh, people put it on their calendar. It doesn't work to do it too close to Halloween because we are in direct competition with haunted houses, at cider mills, all the different places. So I tried to do it in 2 times a year, in April and October or September, and the September one never went very well because everyone had so many choices. But the people who are diehard fans, they will book right after the show's done. They will book their rooms and get their tickets like that day.
That's
and,
really...
we've had people get married at our show and engaged. It's it's like people love it. It's like once because sometimes as horror fans you feel awkward. So our show, everybody feels normal. Everyone's excited, and you think it's all scary, but it's just like a love fest. Everybody's just so excited to be together.
So talk about the marriage that you've seen. Think about the anniversary. Come on.
People will dress up as their, like devils or werewolves and things like that, and then they get married. So, because you can because a lot of the people that do the marriages, sometimes the celebrities do them, and sometimes, so that's always good because they get excited. They're like, because I have direct contact with them, I can request things. So it works out good.
So is this one of the shows like Comic-Con that a lot of people do come dressed up?
Yeah, Saturday is huge. Like, people will make their costumes all year, or they'll make 3 or 4 costumes, and like there are certain times they'll change them throughout the day. So people come and everyone loves to get, like, all the kids, because there's a lot of little kids. So kids come and they get pictures with all the scary people and everything. So it's fun. Even the kids dress up like little scary clowns and stuff.
So for those that love this, where can they get tickets? But more importantly, too, where can they watch some of your movies?
My movies are all over. After distribution, I don't really know a whole lot what happens to them, but you can go online and they are B horror movies. So they're fun. Let's put it that way. I just want to say they're fun. So I moved to LA so I could start working on studio projects.
Now, what part of Michigan did you grow up in?
I grew up in Livonia.
Oh, so you're coming home.
Yeah.
Yep. I lived in Milford just a couple of years ago. Okay. So.
Well, welcome back. Can you talk a little bit about the industry, the film industry? Because we do know that a few years ago, we had all the incentives to try to bring movies to the state of Michigan, and then that kind of went away. Do you think that impacted our overall movie industry here because people have left, such as yourself?
Very much so, because I know a lot of my projects, I had a bunch of movies all set up to do, and as soon as they announced that they were taking it away, they all just went away and gone. So, but I worked a little bit with Haley Stevens to see if we could try to get some kind of incentive here, but it's just so hard because there's more important things right now that they have to fight. So it's like, on the back burner, but the movies bring in so much money. They bring so much money, millions and millions of dollars here in hotel and food and locations, all kinds of stuff. So Georgia and Louisiana are the two leading right now of filmmaking.
Well, those would be good places in the wintertime. But it seems like at least Michigan, can you come up with some type of incentives for 6 months out of the year, right?
But you can shoot inside and it doesn't matter. So like they had Raleigh Studios was here, and they actually, had the whole set of the Oz movie, the one with James Franco and Mila Kunis.
Yeah, that was out in Pontiac, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was a big studio, so you can shoot anything, have a studio shoot anything. But TV shows are the top of the rung. So if you guys could have TV shows here, that would be reoccurring money over and over again.
So can I ask you to just another minute or two, because I know that there's a time difference and we're taking up too much of your time, but can I ask you to, not a time difference because you just said you were back in Michigan.
Because I'm here. I'm at the Sheraton right now.
But if I can ask you to, how is the landscape changing from your standpoint with all of the streaming services?
What it does is it opens up a lot of competition for different things. But the thing for filmmakers, it's amazing because they need content all the time because there's so many. So there's a lot, but the money starts getting less and less and less and less. So you just have to think of all these things because no matter what, the studios are king because they have the gold,
Yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot here. Favorite character?
Oh my gosh. I love all of them. I'm a monster fan. I am not, I don't like the serial killers as much. I definitely like creatures. Anything with creatures. I didn't, the Guillermo del Toro creatures. I love the creatures in Hellboy. So anything to do with creatures.
I can just see her trying to explain this. What do your parents do for a living? Like when you got into this, were they like, we're a little worried about you?
No, they already knew. They knew. Yeah. Because my dad in the beginning was like, oh, you can't be a director because you're a girl.
Oh.
So we're watching some movie. It was called Humanoids from the Deep. It's an old Roger Corman movie. And at the very end, or the very beginning, it comes up Barbara Peterson as the director. And I look over at my dad and I'm like, that's not a boy. So
that's awesome. That is so awesome. Well, enjoy your time back in Michigan, and best of luck with the show. Again, it's going to be happening Friday, July 30th through Sunday, August 1st. Tickets are going to be $30 and $35 for Saturday, $20 for Sunday, and tickets are still available. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for your time.
I'm going to go Google some of your movies and watch some of them. Maybe Friday night in a storm with some popcorn.
Okay. Yes. Awesome.
Tommy Brunswick with us, organizer for the Motor City and Nightmares Expo happening this weekend at the Sheraton Detroit Novi location. We're going to take a break here on the Megacast. Still a lot to get to here in the remainder of the show. When we come back, we are going to be talking sweet treats. That's next here on the Megacast.
Easier than ever to join Michigan's Organ Donor Registry and help build a bridge of hope for organ, tissue, and eye donation. Just one person can potentially save or help improve the lives of up to 75 people. By joining, your legacy could be the gift of life. Sign up today at michigan.gov/SOS or at any of the more than 145 Secretary of State self-service stations located across Michigan. Be part of Michigan's Bridge of Hope by adding your name to the Organ Donor Registry.
How does marijuana affect the teen brain?
Our brains are still developing into our 20s.
With regular use, marijuana can affect teen brain development.
It can affect our brain's circuitry and blood flow and impair thinking, learning, and memory function.
Which could hold us back from reaching our potential.
Don't let marijuana mess with your brain.
Get the facts at michigan.gov/drug-free.
Who is struggling right now?
I am.
My son is.
Many are struggling with anxiety, depression, and substance use. Before it becomes a crisis, reach out to MyCal, the Michigan Crisis and Access Line for free confidential support 24/7. Available in the Upper Peninsula and Oakland County. Just call or text 1-844-44-MyCal or chat online at michigan.gov/MyCal. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services.
Thank you for being with us on the Megacast. Just as a reminder, we kind of get it if you can't hang out with us 2 hours every single day. We're here live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. until noon, but you can always go back to the internet. It's been our lifeline throughout COVID-19.
Yeah, all of our episodes are archived on our website, civiccentertv.com. If you go to our website and you click, of course, on coronavirus, you'll have all that information, the latest headlines, important links about COVID-19 from state, local, and federal agencies. And then if you click on Megacast, you'll have information on our partnering channels as well as access to full episodes and full interviews from each and every one of our shows. So everything's online.
Could you imagine if we went through the pandemic and we had AOL dial-up days?
No.
So, it's been a hard time for so many people, but there are always silver linings, and technology has been one of those. But I will say, excited to bring in our next guest. I love sweet treats.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
There are some people that are salty people.
Yeah, some people are. But, we ignore the salty. We're trying to stay positive here. Don't be salty.
So we've been trying to cut out sugar a lot in our home, in our family dinners. But the one thing about our Sunday family dinners, when it's someone's birthday, then we get to have cake.
Of course.
Well, there's a lot of people in our family, so we're having cake quite a bit.
And there's the deer that are also trying to get the cake.
Yeah, they were munching on my flowers this morning. But excited to bring in Madeline Doman. She's the owner of MaddieBakes. It's a cake and pastry creations based in Birmingham. Your cakes are absolutely stunning. Thank you for being with us.
Hi, how are you? And thank you, by the way.
How do you come up with these?
I meet with clients and they give me sort of what they're looking for, design, and I sketch up what they're thinking and kind of just play around and create. So I look at different fashions and textures, and I really like to play around with different things and make each cake unique to my clients.
So Maddie, if I can ask you, because you don't look that old, and we never ask ladies their age.
No.
I went to school in South Carolina. You learned that. But I will say, how long have you been baking? Because your cakes aren't just a cake. They are masterpieces, really.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. I have been baking ever since I was little. 10 plus years now professionally, 7 years. And I've always had a passion for it, and I always loved it.
So give us a little bit of background. What's your training?
So I went to the French pastry school after I graduated college, and I was there for 2 years. I did the pastry program, and then I did the cake program following. And it was the best education I've ever received. I was trained under top-of-the-line pastry chefs. Super grateful for that experience.
Was it a little intense, though, as well?
Oh yes. So it was a program that was condensed into 2 years. We did breads, entremets, you name it. So it was definitely intense. It was 12 hours every day, but I learned a great deal, and it taught me everything I know.
So I know that you're really known here locally for your wedding cakes. What's it been like for you in the middle of the pandemic because so many weddings were postponed?
Yes, so the pandemic was difficult, but it's super exciting that people are getting married again, and I'm able to do larger, bigger wedding cakes, but definitely was difficult when people weren't getting married or weren't able to have large gatherings.
And so with that, can I ask, how do you come up with the flavors? Do you just sit in the kitchen all day, every day, like a wizard, mixing up new flavors?
I will say this, COVID, that definitely gave me some time to really, I'm always exploring different flavors and pairings, and making sure my cake recipes are top of the line, and experimenting with how I can make them better and what I can do differently. So I will say during COVID, I was able to have a little more time in the kitchen to explore different flavors and work on my recipes.
Well, I'll say it's not fair because I look at a cookie and I gain 20 pounds. I'm like, how do you not eat all day, like sugar all day?
I don't make leftovers.
That's the key, huh?
And I taste things, and
So can I ask you what advice, because there's been an explosion of so many of these cooking shows, but also the baking shows. Like, I think there's even a new one on Fox, Crime Scene Baking or something like that. So there's been an explosion of cooking and baking shows. Is it competition? Do you feel like you have to one-up everyone? Because, of course, there was Cake Boss a few years ago. Or do you think it helps your industry in getting more people interested in doing this?
I would say, and this is what I learned at the French pastry school too, it's just working together with people and being excited about it and sharing different ideas. And I'm not as much into the competition aspect. I enjoy watching it. I think it's fun, but I also think it's so fun to get people involved in the kitchen and just to be creative and see different ideas and get inspiration from, people. And it is such a fun thing to do. And it brings joy to people, and it's happy. And I love that. And I love that I can share that and we can all be together with that.
Madeline Doman with us here on the Megacast. She's the owner of MaddieBakes, a Cake and Pastry Creations based in Birmingham. And can I ask you, we're all friends here, just between us, what's the craziest request you've ever had?
I would say the craziest request is I had to do I want to say it was like 5 foot tall Mickey character. That was a pretty crazy cake.
How long does it take you to create that, to make it and shape it?
I mean, it was a crazy week. Long hours creating the Mickey cake and really building the character of Mickey. And it was for a little boy's birthday, but yeah, that was a challenging one.
But if I can kind of add something here, because I do know that some people say, oh, it's a cake. But when it's a part of your special day, whether it's a birthday or an anniversary or a celebration of a life event, the cake can mean so much. So for my husband and I, when we got married, he's a comic book collector. And we had cupcakes that were made in all his favorite comic books characters. Trust me, that was the farthest I was going to go, because he would have had all of our guests dressed up at comic book, like as characters. I was like, no. But I knew I had to get comic books in there somewhere, because it was such a big part of his personality. And I will say it meant so much to him. It was a surprise to him. And then on our 1-year anniversary, we saved the cupcakes. We had a little cake, but then the cupcakes, and we saved them. And people may think it's a cake, but you're really helping them make memories and these special moments. What do you take away from that?
It's really satisfying, and that's why I do what I do. It's you're right. It's not just a cake. It is making someone's celebration. It's creating these memories, and what I take away is it makes everything worth it when I deliver a cake, and I see that enjoyment, and how happy they are with the cake, and it makes their event special. And that's why I do what I do. I love it.
So we know that baking is about measurements and precision, but I'm not good at that. I'm like, yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah, throw that in too. But what advice would you give to people who are maybe baking challenged? I mean, and you're talking to a person who has burnt cookies that were sliced cookies. Like you slice the cookie dough and you put it on a sheet and you burn them.
So like you said, baking is all about precision and being exact. My biggest thing is follow the recipe. The method is important. If it says the butter at room temperature, make sure the butter's at room temperature. Every little instruction is important to making your final product. And at the French pastry school, we measured in grams, which is like very precise. So I would say if you have a recipe in grams and you have a scale, without fail, if you follow that instruction to a T, you'll get a great product every time.
So can I ask you, does everyone want to invite you over for dinner because they know you're going to bring a nice treat?
I will say, like, most of the times I'm invited, they're like, oh, is dessert coming? Or, and I'm always happy to bring dessert.
No, you should say, no, I'm bringing a cheese tray.
Yeah, right. Oh, I got the charcuterie. What do you mean?
Yeah, I picked it up at Costco. So with that too, where can people find your creations? Because I feel like they are just that. Like for the two cakes behind you, how long would those take you to make?
So I have sugar flowers on this cake, which is definitely a specialty of mine. I take a lot of time in making realistic sugar flowers. I've done many classes to get better at that skill. And you can make sugar flowers well in advance because it's made from sugar and it pretty much lasts forever. So I am always working on sugar flowers to have some to put on a cake. But this cake, I would say I like to bake cakes as close to the event as I can because I want it to be the freshest possible. But I'll start working on a cake like that week.
That week. I'm looking at them. So I will say, for anyone that's listening, because, she's making it like, oh, maybe that week, but you haven't seen the creations. And so what's your website?
My website is MaddieBakes.com.
Do you go by Maddie? We've been calling.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Obviously you named your name Maddie, so, we should call you Maddie. So with that too, can I ask you, what about social media? How has it played in to your marketing, especially during COVID? Because we do know that like on Instagram and Facebook, like the Facebook videos and Instagram Reels, they've really helped launch so many people in their careers. Have you found social media to be a good avenue for you?
Yes, very much so. I feel like I'm still learning with posting and reposting, but just when I deliver a wedding cake and someone posts or tags me and I can repost it and people see that and I get followers, and whenever I post a cake and I hashtag and it shows up on someone else's feed who doesn't necessarily know me yet, it's been very helpful. I am still getting better with it, but it's definitely a great avenue to reach a wider audience. For sure.
So I'm watching one of those master classes right now, and I think we need a local master class, and you should be a part of the master class. Like, how do you even begin to make these amazing flowers out of sugar? Do you study nature first and then try to bring that into your kitchen?
Yeah, so when I have a bouquet or when I'm working on a sugar flower arrangement for a cake, I usually bring in fresh flowers, and I look at how their movement, how they fall on each other, and that really inspires me to create lifelike flowers for the cake from real.
That's so amazing to me. You really are. You're not just a baker, but you're an artist. Do you consider yourself an artist?
Oh, well, thank you very much. I do, yes. I think that with creating different cakes and sketching them out, I do consider myself a cake artist, yes.
Well, and with that, anything to touch on that you want to share with us before we say goodbye?
If you would like some sweet treats or a beautiful cake, please reach out. I will be starting classes soon too. So my website is MaddieBakes.com. You can email me at MaddieBakesSweets@gmail.com. Keep baking out there. It's so much fun.
I love that. And I will say, when you go to our website, you're going to be intimidated because they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. So when you start hosting events again, is it for beginners as well, or are you looking for people with a little bit of kitchen experience?
All different, beginners, experienced. I've done classes with people who've never picked up a piping bag. So it's for everyone. It's little kids too. So I enjoy all the creative people who just want to have fun and decorate TV.
Well, we're so glad to have you on the show with us, and we're so happy to see that you're still hanging in there post-COVID. And we know that this has been a busy summer with so many people that have postponed their weddings, and I think the next 2 years you're going to be pretty busy.
I hope so, yes. But it's already been busy, so it's good.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you again for being with us again. Madeline Doman, she's the owner of MaddieBakes Cake and Pastry Creations based in Birmingham. You can find out more about her, maybe order a cake, MaddieBakes.com. And I will say they're absolutely amazing. So, you know what? It's great to get one of those cakes and walk into a party.
Sure.
Mic drop. I impressed everyone.
Exactly. Like you said, you're not just bringing a great dessert, you're also bringing a piece of art for people to admire, something that catches the eye and, impresses a few people.
With that, we'll take a break here on the Megacast. About 20 minutes left here in the show, and we'll shift the conversation just a little bit to the medical side of the house. That's next here on the Megacast.
Motorcyclists are hard to see. To keep everyone safer, it's important to always look for them and know where most crashes occur. 84% of motorcycle and vehicle crashes happen on streets, not highways. And most crashes with motorcyclists occur when vehicle drivers are turning left. So before turning, especially to the left, make sure you look for motorcyclists. Then look again. It could save a life.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
To have you with us here on the Megacast, just about 15 minutes in the show, and I want to say one thing, Tyler. We kind of take for granted all the medical facilities that are here available to us throughout the Metro Detroit area. I grew up in a very small town, and we had a very small town hospital, and when you really need the expertise, we always have someone here, and that includes Dr. Charles Day. He's an orthopedic hand surgeon over at Henry Ford Health Systems, and he is joined with us today along with one of his patients, Keisha Triplett. But Keisha, before we get to you, Dr. Day, thank you for being with us. I really want to touch on this groundbreaking surgery that you performed on Keisha, which was a total wrist replacement. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. Well, thanks for inviting me. I appreciate the opportunity. Total wrist replacement is a procedure where for my patients with the worst arthritis of the wrist, we can replace the joint by giving the patient a new metallic joint that allows the patient to move and be relatively pain-free.
That is amazing. So not many of these surgeries have been performed in the U.S., and you did one recently, and you did it on Keisha. How did it go?
Well, I'll let Keisha do the talking.
Hi, Keisha. How are you? Welcome to the show. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell me about your limitations prior to the surgery.
Oh, I couldn't do anything with my left hand, like holding things, opening up things. I couldn't even vacuum a floor. Anything with this left hand.
How long had that been going on?
Oh, for over about 20-some years.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I dealt with this for quite some time. It was painful.
So this past, was it May that you had the surgery, and how are things going?
Yes, May the 5th, and now today I am completely healed. I'm done with therapy. I have no pain.
And you can use your wrist like nothing?
Yes, I can use my wrist. I can move it up and down. I'm using my phone with the hand that I had surgery. Oh. So, which is a good thing because I couldn't do that before.
Wow, really those little things that so many of us take for granted, but has been life-changing for you.
Exactly, yes.
Oh my gosh, we're so happy for you.
Yeah.
And really to be through therapy and just a few short weeks after your surgery. And so, Dr. Day, if I can bring you back into the conversation, can you tell us more about the surgery? What does it entail?
Absolutely. I think that it's love to hear these stories from my patients and to know that what I do makes that much of a difference in their lives. But the reason why total wrist replacement hasn't taken off the way maybe a knee replacement has. I mean, no one talks about knee replacements happen all the time. It's been going on for decades. But total wrist replacement has only been happening over the last 15 years or so. And it's because there are 15 bones in the wrist. There are only 3 bones in the knee. And to get a total wrist replacement done well, you have to align 15 bones correctly versus you only have to align 3 bones correctly in the knee. And so that adds to the complexity of what needs to happen. And on top of that, it's just a new endeavor, because only about 20 years ago did they start designing a wrist replacement specifically for the wrist.
But Dr. Day, I'm thinking about this, and I think about how much we use our hands, especially in modern day with technology. You need it to type, you need it to write, you need it to really function in the world. So do you anticipate you're going to see more of this in the future?
Absolutely. And I don't want to say that the total wrist replacement is for everybody. I think that it's for the right person. Somebody like Keisha is the perfect person for this. She's been living with pain in her wrist for 20 years.
That's insane. Oh my gosh.
That any little thing does, holding a carton of milk, holding a pot, holding a pan, that's bothered her. She couldn't even carry her grandchild.
Yeah.
So to be able to bring that back for her, and that's just amazing, and I'm just so grateful to be a part of that.
So Keisha, if I can ask you, how long was the surgery?
4 hours, I believe.
That's about right.
And so with that, were you a little bit nervous going in?
For me?
Yeah. Prior to the surgery, were you a little bit nervous, or were you just like, I need some relief? I don't care what it is.
Yes, that was the main part. Me wanted to just get some relief from this wrist. So I was a little nervous, but after, me talking to the nurses, and they was calming my nerves, and I was okay with everything.
When did you start having the conversation about thinking about a wrist replacement? I mean, the words themselves are daunting.
Oh, this was way before the pandemic had even started. I had talked to Dr. Day.
Oh, and so, but you still ended up doing it. I mean, we're emerging from the pandemic, but there's still the concerns of COVID-19.
Oh, yeah, of course. But no, I was okay with it.
Keisha Triplett with us here on the Megacast. She is a patient of Dr. Charles Day over at the Henry Ford Health System, and she had a full wrist replacement. She was the first total wrist replacement surgery done at Henry Ford. Were you a little nervous being the first person?
I didn't quite know until after the fact.
Oh, you were just like, I want relief.
Yeah, but then when I was going to therapy, they was like, there goes the star. I'm like, oh, me?
So to be fair, I think when I talked to Keisha, this is the number 12 total wrist that I've done, but the other ones were done in Boston. So
okay.
I moved to for health years ago, and so this is the first one I've done here. Now, since I've done this, since I've been on these talks, somebody had said that somebody might have had done this procedure like 10 years ago, but I'm not sure if that person's still with the system anymore.
Well, we will say that we're okay with you doing the surgery on some guinea pigs in Boston. We're okay with that, right, Keisha?
Yes, we are. Yeah.
What does it take for you, Dr. Day, to prepare for a surgery such as this?
Well, I think that you have to have it's important to have some joint replacement background, so that, I think most orthopedic surgeons coming from an orthopedic surgery background, we're familiar with joint replacements as a whole. But then to be able to do this for the wrist, you really need intricate understanding of the anatomy around the hand and wrist, and being able to understand how these different bones interact with each other, so that you can put together the right components in the right way.
But how do you figure out if a patient is a right candidate for a surgery such as this?
That's a great question. A lot of patients get wrist arthritis, but not every wrist arthritic patient can be or should be a good candidate for a total wrist replacement. And it's usually for people with diseases like what Keisha has, which is a rheumatoid arthritis. She has rheumatoid arthritis, which is a long-standing chronic problem that she's had for years in her wrist. And for patients like her, who's not like she's not a laborer, she's not working a construction site, or she's not a farmer, for instance. And those professions would be less amenable to a total wrist replacement.
So if I can ask you, how does a patient know when they should ask maybe they need this? Or is it really one of the situations such as Keisha where it was really impacting her day-to-day life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the most important thing I would recommend for patients is if you're having pain that's unrelenting in your hands and wrist, get it checked out. Get it checked out by an experienced hand surgeon so that they can talk to you about, number one, what's causing it, and number two, what are the different options to make it better.
So if I can ask you, what does typically cause complications such as this in a wrist?
So a lot of times, if it's not rheumatoid arthritis based, then a lot of times it's what we call post-traumatic arthritis, or a patient may have a chronic injury of the ligaments. So a sports medicine injury, a fall that a patient had many, many years ago that had a bone that had a broken bone that may have healed incorrectly. All of these conditions can create long-term chronic pain for our patients. And there are a lot of different solutions that we have in the hand and wrist world to take care of these problems.
So Keisha, if I can ask you, you've lived with this for 20 years. What made you even spark this conversation to know that the surgery was possible?
Because I was having like swelling in my wrist and it was ongoing pain. So I was like, something has to give. I need to talk to someone about what is going on with my wrist. So that's when I talked to Dr. Day.
Can I ask you, what has the journey been like from you, though, from the beginning, understanding that you had problems to getting to the point where you couldn't even use your wrist, to getting to a surgery where you get a full replacement?
What was the journey?
Yeah.
Wow.
When did it start? And because for so many of us, we live with kind of these ailments, thinking we can manage them. Was that what you were thinking?
Yes, for so long I thought that I could live with just, okay, there's pain. Let's do something let's just not use the hand. Let's soak the hand. Let's do whatever we can. Before I came across, I need something else has to be done.
So I know that you're driving a little bit, so we're losing your signal, but how did you find out about Dr. Day?
Before I researched him and I thought he was a good doctor for him, just to see what was going on with my hand.
Because were you trying to find some type of solution? It didn't matter what it was, you just wanted relief?
Yes, even if I had to get steroids, if I was today, so I was getting steroids in the hand. So now something else is wrong with his wrist. When I take the Dr. Day.
Well, we're so happy to know that you're doing better, and what a change in life that you're going to experience going forward. Just about a few seconds left here with you, Dr. Day. Can I just ask, if people are having symptoms, when should they know to seek out services such as yours?
I think that if you have symptoms in your hand and wrist, I think one of the first things you could do on your own, especially if it's after an injury, is to purchase one of these braces from a wrist brace or a hand brace from CVS. I mean, there's a lot of these braces that are commercially available. By immobilizing yourself for 3 to 4 weeks or so, it should get significantly better. If it does not, it may speak of a more concerning problem, and that's when you really want to see a specialist about it.
Well, we so appreciate the time of both of you here today, and I can say that while she is the first, I'm sure she's not going to be the last to have the full wrist replacement, and you have made such a difference in her life. So thank you to the both of you for being with us today on the Megacast. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us. Bye-bye.
We really do have some amazing doctors here in the Metro Detroit area, and we're lucky to have them because they're making a big difference in so many lives. That's amazing, like a wrist replacement. Huh.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're doing great work, and they're doing great research as well, so that they're not only on the cutting edge with what procedures they can do, but procedures of the future.
It's been great having you tune in to the Thursday edition of the Megacast. We'll be back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. bright and early. Thank you for tuning in.